This week, we're gonna hang this painting that my niece Sarah made a few weeks ago. It looks pretty good, right? The challenge is we don't have any hardware or any mounting brackets existing on the picture. So we're gonna add those. Now because it's a canvas picture in a wood frame, we've got plenty of options where we can put the brackets. But a good rule of thumb is to measure the length or the width, depending on how you hang it, and find 1/3 the distance. In this case, this picture is 24 inches, so we want to make it 1/3 of that, which for you math scholars out there is 8 inches. So we've already got a marked line here, and then again over here. So let's see what we do to get this thing affixed to the wall. So to get started, you want to make sure you have the correct tools. You want to have a tape measure, you want a stud finder, a hammer, screwdriver, and then some hanging kits. These are sold at pretty much any hardware store or craft store. Now, depending on what you're trying to hang, you may need to use some drop-in anchors or even some screw-in anchors, depending upon the weight. Okay, so what we've done is we've added the eye screws at our 1/3 mark on both sides, center in the board, and then we've ran our cable across. Now, you'll notice that I've got some slack in the cable, and that's on purpose. You don't want this super duper tight. You want it to free float a little bit. So what was once 1/3 is probably now roughly 1/5 or 1/4 the distance in. And that'll allow the picture to hang really nice and even on the wall and be centered. Now, if you don't have this as an option, but you have a sawtooth, you can mount this in the center at the top of the picture on the long side, or even on the short side, depending on how the picture is oriented. And then that'll get you what you need to put it on the wall. Now that we know what we want to hang, we need to know how we're going to hang it on the wall. There are several options we have in front of us. We could bore a hole in the wall and add in this drop-in anchor. We could let this screw-in anchor drive itself in the wall, or we can put one of these hanging brackets on it. These are based off of the weight of the material you're hanging. If it were up to me, considering the weight of the picture, I would go for the small one, but you could use the medium grade, it's fine. This is a little bit of overkill. This is for something heavier. But in all honesty, you really don't need it. You can just use a nail. So as I mentioned before, I left some slack in this line, and that gets me about 5 inches off the top of the picture. So I want to know where on the wall I want the picture to sit. And for me, that's pretty close to eye level. So if I were to measure from the ceiling down or from the ground up, I want to get a mark. So the top of that is 22 inches. Well, to add 5 to that, I'm at 27 inches to where my cable resides. So that's where we're going to put our hole. Okay, so we found our mark at 27 inches down the wall. Now we need to find the center across here to here. So it's at 24.5 inches. So half of that to put it at center is 12.25, where we already have our mark. So that's where we want to put our nail or our hanger. You could just use the nail. But if you do decide to use the hanger, you want to make sure that you account for that offset, because your hanger is going to sit lower than your mark if you drive the nail in at the mark. So if you do decide to use your hanger, hold it up just at the line and then put your nail in above. Got our hanger in and it's at the line. Now I'm going to show you a neat little trick that you can do. If you take a fork and you slide it in to just grip that hanger, you can use that as an easy guide so that when you go to slip the picture on, you can hook it, and now it's on the wall, and then you straighten it up. No more hunting around, feeling in behind there. So that's been your weekend fix. Again, I'm James Fulton. Follow us at Atlantic Station, and we'll see you next time.